Welcome, everybody. It's 15:30, so I would say we start. Welcome, everybody. My name is Godelieve Kooijmans. I'm managing partner of ProAccess, and I'm living and working in Italy for 23 years now, and I will be your moderator today. Welcome to this last session of today's Business Day Italy. And we're talking about water and bioeconomy today. In the next hour, we will inform you about the opportunities and challenges that Italy offers to Dutch entrepreneurs in this field of water and bioeconomy, and especially in the light of the Next Generation EU funds and the Italian Recovery Plan, also called the Next Generation Italy. A lot was spoken already in the previous sessions today about this important funding. Italy is expected to receive almost 200 billion euro over the next 6 years, and mostly for ecological transition and digitalization. So green economy is in the picture, of which 15 billion euro destinated to water in fields as hydrogeological instability and land erosion due to climate change, but also safeguarding the biodiversity through the protection of soil, green areas and marine areas. And last but not least, and we will hear later more about this, for the management and efficiency of the water supply infrastructure. But before we start, I would like to give you some technical suggestions. This Zoom webinar is being recorded for later use. So if you prefer not to be shown on the screen, then please turn off your camera. And during the various presentations of the speakers, please turn off your microphone. Questions, of course, are very welcome. You can use the chat function for this. You can see this on the side of your screen. If you, in the bottom of the screen, click on the chat, you will see all the questions, and you can chat between each other also, amongst each other. So if you see a question and you know an answer, please do so. And if you're a speaker, of course, unmute yourself when it's your turn. So let me introduce the speakers of today. We have invited some very interesting speakers, both from Holland and from Italy, who will share their knowledge on certain parts of the water issues, and also share their experience being a company already active in Italy. So we will try to answer all your questions that you can have also to the speakers during this webinar, and otherwise we will do this or in the chat or send you the answers later on. At the end of this session, you will also receive the recording and the contact details of everybody. So don't hesitate to contact the one you would like to ask questions to. So let me introduce the first speaker, Chris Schoenmakers, Senior Economic Advisor of the Dutch Embassy in Rome. And Chris, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Godelieve. Buongiorno a tutti. I'm very happy to be here today in this session, to participate to this last session of today's Business Day. Sorry, do you hear me?
Oh, you were...
Oh, why not?
Now we can hear
everything is okay.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, now it's good.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. Well, a warm welcome again to all of you. I'm very pleased to be here today to participate to this session. I'm also very happy to see a number of speakers from the Italian and the Dutch side that we already know very well, which we have very good collaborations. I just mentioned Water Alliance, Envaqua, the Italian Exhibition Group, and of course also Italbiotech, and of course Godelieve ProAccess, with which we also have a long collaboration in the past years. I'm working at the economic section in the embassy in Rome, and together with our colleagues at the Consulate General in Milan, we assist Dutch companies willing to do business on the Italian market. For this webinar, I worked very closely together with my colleague Daniela Colpani from the Consulate General, and our contact details will also be shared to you after this webinar. Just a short reminder for the Dutch companies that want to do business in Italy. Please know that we assist companies with all kinds of trade questions. We also provide a market analysis on promising sectors for Dutch companies. We organize informative seminars, trade missions, and also collective trade fair participations. Normally we do this throughout the whole of Italy, but of course, due to the COVID pandemic, a lot of these activities are done digitally. We are also very active in the water and bioeconomy sector, in which many challenges exist for both countries. Challenges that have forced us in the course of history to develop technologies and know-how to cope with the danger that water poses and to optimize the benefit from water. And I just want to start mentioning the state visit to Italy in 2017, including a large trade mission on water. And from that trade mission on, we are actively strengthening the cooperation between our two countries in all the subsectors in the water sector. And today we focus especially on wastewater treatment, on nutrient recovery, on water and agriculture, and on the reuse for water in the building environment. In November last year, we also had a virtual trade mission to Italy under the guidance of our Minister of Foreign Trade and Development Cooperation, Sigrid Kaag. And today's webinar, in fact, is a logical follow-up on that mission. As Godelieve already said, there are promising developments in this sector, especially with new investments underway, part of the EU Next Generation Fund. Godelieve mentioned for the water and bio sector, several billions of euro. In total, the whole recovery plan for Italy will have 200 billion euro for the next years, and 40% of this will be focusing on the green economy, and 40%, and that's also, I think, very interesting to mention, will also be focusing on the south of Italy. Let me just mention you one important activity that we are planning for this year, a participation with a Netherlands lounge at the most important European Green Economy Expo Ecomondo in Rimini from the 26th to the 29th of October. And Ilaria Cevoli, she will tell you much more about this. But yeah, we of course hope that many of the Dutch companies are interested to join this lounge. And please let us know, or let also the Water Alliance and the Embaqua know that you are interested in participating. I'm looking very much forward to this afternoon session, examples by the Italian experts and by the Dutch companies, and I wish everyone a very fruitful meeting. Grazie mille.
Grazie a te. Thank you very much, Chris. Let me give the floor now to Ilaria Re. She is the EU Project Office Director of the Consorzio Italbiotech. And Consortium Italbiotech conducted a study for the Dutch Ministry for the RBO and the Embassy on the Italian market for water and circular/bioeconomy and the opportunities for Dutch innovative companies in these sectors. So could you share some results with us, Ilaria, of this study?
First of all, good afternoon, everyone. It's a very big pleasure to be here with you today. And also it's a pleasure to mention that the market report Circular Economy in Italy, which provides a complete framework of the water supply, focus on clean and safe water technologies and resource recovery from wastewater treatment. its ultimate goal is to offer concrete insight to innovative Dutch companies on business opportunities supporting in their market positioning. Protection of natural ecosystems and biodiversity is closely linked to the sustainable use of water resources. In Italy, despite relevant example of circular economy business model, the green transition requires a strong acceleration. Agriculture is one of the Italian economic engine and one of the industry with the greatest water demand, equal to almost 60% of the required volume. However, only 4% of the volume of purified wastewater is destined for reuse in irrigation practices. The report provides insight into integrated water supply governance, the regulatory reference for operators, technologies, challenges, and also the best opportunities according to the current industrial landscape. Example of industrial excellence for applying water treatment technologies are concentrated above all in the central and northern regions, but the demand for qualified industrial suppliers for water saving is growing. Favorable conditions for water purification and reuse technologies are more encouraged in areas with a high intensity of agricultural production and urbanization, or limited water resources availability. Let me say, to summarize or to list some example of the primary areas of interest in water. First, solution for water saving and reuse of wastewater, especially in the south, since it is the most affected area with water scarcity, and in which regions that are agriculture intensive, and then provide incentives and investment to counteract the surface water depletion. Secondly, demand for decentralized water recycling system. In Italy, despite this huge potential, the number of companies involved in sale and providing wastewater treatment plants for domestic use is quite minimal. So there is a big room for business opportunity in this sense. And finally, technology for saving sludge reuse. With 3.1 million tons produced in 2018, sludge is one of the leading products derived from wastewater treatment. So Dutch companies interested in providing technologies solution for increase the level of purification of wastewater are more than welcome. That in Italy there are so needs of their skills and competencies. So like you can see, we take in consideration almost 500 companies. So there is a quite a good description of their overall water supply chain.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. And I saw a question if this will be distributed, your slide. Of course, we will do this after this meeting. So now, as Chris explained, we did already many activities in water between Dutch and Italian companies in the last years. And did you receive any feedback from Italian companies, also maybe after they read your study, on possible collaborations with Dutch companies?
Yes, of course. Consorzio Italbiotech brings together an ecosystem of over 70 public and private entities operating in industrial biotechnology. And today it represents the Italian lending no-profit organization in this field. So primary, the report was initially more attractive for Italian companies operating in biotechnologies applied to ecology and using nature-based solution for water treatment. So we collect several interesting from companies interested in looking for business opportunities related to focus on biological solution for the detection of contaminants in water, since it's not a well-established skills in Italy. So many plants are interested in companies interested in contaminants detection, including using intelligence sensor and technologies based on artificial intelligence solution for the detection and for treatment. and also based on using renewable materials. Finally, there is a strong interest in bioremediation methods that are able to be effective in several environment conditions, and also water treatment processes able to reduce the use of toxic substances and have, in general, a better environmental impact.
Very good, very good. This offers a lot of opportunities, as we hear. And I know you are, as a Consortio Italbiotech, are collaborating with the Netherlands in EU projects already a lot for many years. Could you tell us something about this?
Yeah, there are many cooperation between Italy and the Netherlands in the bioeconomy sector. Among them, it is a pleasure to mention the Vanguard initiative. That is an European association driven by a political commitment of 37 regions to boost new growth through bottom-up industrial innovation in smart specialization strategy. In this context, the bioeconomy pilot, which I'm pleased to represent, enhance interregional cooperation among industries and academia to boost innovation in the bio-waste sector by supporting the most promising business model market uptake. Lombardy and Randstad regions are co-leader in leading this pilot. And then these two regions are responsible for boosting innovation and supporting companies, mostly SMEs, in reaching the market according to their skills and increase the number of products, bio-based products in the market. In the partnership, Bio-Based Delta is one of the major entities, very active. Bio-Based Delta is an alliance of Dutch provinces, businesses and knowledge centers in the Delta region of North Brabant, Zeeland and South Holland. Together, Bio-Based Delta is a pioneering of sustainable bio-based economy. Thanks to the collaboration with this alliance, several demo cases in the bioeconomy has been launched and then are currently ongoing. So we are looking for companies interested in joining, and then we are very happy to provide our expertise in supporting them on reaching successfully the market.
Very good, very good. A last question to you. Now we've heard a lot about this Italian recovery plan. We are in the middle of, it was just presented to the EU, and we know there's 15 billion euros available for water. What is the impact you expect on the water and bioeconomy sector?
Yeah, exactly. The ecological, as you mentioned at the beginning of this meeting, the ecological transition is one of strategic pillars of the plan, which representing almost 40% of the total resource allocated. That is basically the results of the effort provided of Italy in reaching the European Green Deal objects. So the support for sustainable agriculture and management of water resource are relevant component of the Mission 2, dedicated to the green revolution and ecological transition. With an investment of almost 60 billion euro, Mission 2 intend to accelerate the adoption of circular production and consumption model. The investment in the water areas in the recovery plan are very huge, able to overcome obstacles related to the fragmentation of governance. That is one of the major bottlenecks in the water management in Italy, and improve the efficiency of integrated water system overall. 4 investment measures for water sector operators will mobilize nearly 9 million euros for new water infrastructure. So we are looking for companies interested in water loss reduction solution, especially for reusing agriculture practices, purify wastewater for irrigation and industrial purposes. 2 reforms will pave the way for entrusting the water service to industrial players. So the recovery plan expected to engage companies or leaders in water management as consultant, so a very expert on supporting this transition by working together for the creation of new infrastructure and the revamp and the increased efficiency of already existing ones.
Very good, very good. Thank you very much. Now we know that, of course, a lot of these funds will go through public tenders. As I don't know if some of you participated also in the first session this morning, where we talked about the importance of public tenders. And of course, they are very complicated to participate to, but certainly they're worthwhile to try. It's very good to use an expert in Italy on public tenders, and it's wise to find a partner maybe to do it together with, but it's certainly worthwhile to try and participate. There was the RVO had a market study published on the public tenders in Italy with all the tips and tricks you will find in there. You can find this on the website of the RVO, so it's certainly recommended. Thank you very much, Ilaria, for your contribution. And I would like to give the floor to your namesake, the other Ilaria Cepoli, who is the international sales account for the Italian exhibition group that organizes the very important European trade fair Ecomondo in Rimini in the middle of Italy, on the other side, on the coast. Please, Ilaria.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for this great opportunity of being here today. As Gozedida so kindly anticipated, today I represent Italian Exhibition Group. We are an event organizer based in Rimini, in Italy, and in 2019 we organized and hosted 48 events and 190 conferences worldwide. Today I am here to introduce Ecomondo and Key, two exhibitions held in contemporary and co-located, which have been taking place in Rimini since respectively 23 and 13 years. And today they will take place, as you can see, from 26 to 29 October. As you can see in the next slide, Ecomondo and Key are, let's say, a unique event because they are the major event in Europe that involve both green technologies and renewable energy. In the next slide, we can see the sectors of the exhibition. So Ecomondo mainly involves the whole supply chain of recycling, ranging from waste collection and transport, waste treatment, exploitation of and valorization of materials, and then optimization of organic resources through bioenergy, anaerobic digestion, decontamination and hydrogeological risk, and water treatment with the entire area dedicated to the whole urban integrated water cycle, monitoring of water, air, and other materials. While Key Energy involves all kinds of renewable energy, from solar energy, wind, hydroelectric energy, but also sustainable mobility and smart city. In fact, it has a special project called Sustainable City. In the next slide, we can see some numbers of the 2019 physical edition. As you can see on the whole event, we had more than 1,600 exhibitors, more than 90,000 visitors, and we organized more than 200 conferences. In 2020, unfortunately, due to the COVID pandemic, the event could not take place physically, but instead we organized a 2-week digital event, which hosted more than 400 companies with very good results, so more than 70,000 views of their pages on the platform. In the next slide, you can see that since we experienced such a success with this digital appointment, we decided to replicate some more digital appointments over the course of this year. And the next one will be actually next week. We organized 5 digital green weeks, which are 3 days events during which the digital platform will be open and exhibitors and visitors can interact. They can attend and organize webinars and roundtables and get ready for the physical event in October. In the next slide, you can see some of the topics, some of the highlight topics of the exhibitions Ecomondo and Key for this year. Circular economy, of course, is always at the heart of Ecomondo, together with the bio-based materials, valorization of the integrated waste cycle, but also sustainable agriculture and digitalization, which are also key themes in Key Energy. Together with the wind and solar revamping, electric mobility, and of course the targets to 2030. In the next slide, you can see that, of course, during the physical exhibition in November, we will have different areas, exhibiting areas, events areas, but most importantly, we will have some special areas, such as the Innovation Gallery, the Startup area, a meeting zone, and an International Buyers Lounge. In the International Buyers Lounge, we will we expect to gather more than 300 Oyster buyers this year. Exhibitors will have the chance to organize business meetings with buyers, also in advance through a matchmaking platform. Whilst during the event, they will be able to meet the buyers both physically or digitally on the digital platform. In the next slide, at the end, to sum up, we can see some of the topics of the conferences of Ecomondo for this year. So we have sustainable technological innovation for material and energy recycling and recovery, smart water to promote the use of data-driven technologies in water and wastewater networks, the Bloom Pilot Initiative for a plastic-free Mediterranean Sea, and finally, underexploited circular economy priorities such as eco-design and repair. I know it was a rush, but it was important to give all the basic information. Then you will receive, of course, the presentation. If you need further information, you can contact us. And I look forward to see you all in October from 26 to 29 in Rimini.
Congratulations, Ilaria, very well, within the time, perfect.
Thank you.
And from own experience, really an important exhibition to visit, to do networking, and if possible, to exhibit yourself or to participate in the Holland Lounge, of course. Is there any question? Are there any questions from the public, from the participants, from the attendees that you want to put to Ilaria Re or Ilaria Ceboli at this moment? If not, then I would suggest to continue. And then if some questions come up, we can still do this at the end of this session. We're now meeting 2 companies that are already active on the market, which of course is always the best thing to hear, the most instructive thing if you are deciding or doubting to enter the Italian market, to hear a colleague that is already positively active. So I'm pleased to introduce to you 2 Dutch innovative companies. First of all, Cirtec, a Dutch company, and we are meeting Koos Wessels, the managing director, who works, and he will explain this himself, but who works more in the public sector. And then afterwards, we will meet Rijnmond Oldhoff of Akana, who works in the private industry sector. So 2 different approaches to this market. Koos, please, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you for the introduction. And thank you for the opportunity to speak here. Yeah. I prepared a couple of slides to introduce our company. CERTEC is basically an acronym for circular technology, meaning that we recover valuables from sewage. And in this regard, we are talking about primary treatment. And as you can see in the next slide, what we do is we install equipment. After the core screens at the inlet of a sewage treatment plant, where we harvest basically solids, and a part of that solids is cellulose, what is the main component of toilet paper. The residuals are there for energy production in a digester, and the cellulose is upgraded into a valuable product. That has a significant impact on a treatment plant, as you can see on the next slide, because what you do if you remove the solids, you reduce the energy consumption of a treatment plant with approximately 15 to 20%. You reduce the sludge production, and with that you reduce energy or chemical consumption. And in the same time, we produce a valuable resource that can be applied in products again. And in the next slide, I have some examples of products that we use this for. The cellulose recovered, we use it, for example, as an additive in asphalt. We produce or we sell it to a company that makes biocomposites from it. It is used in the construction sector, insulation boards, and we're also looking at making biochemicals out of it. We branded our recovered cellulose as Resell, and we made an application for the end of waste. What is important here to get it allowed as a valuable resource. So this is also what we're active in Italy. Perfect. As a short introduction.
Yeah, and it's a completely circular economy. Huh? You are organizing here, huh? From waste, remaking products that can be used in other applications. Very, very well. How did you get active on this market, Koos?
Well, at first, to get started, we did a lot of research, and we did it partially also together with Italian universities, the ones from Verona and from Rome. Like in every country, you need to have, I would say, background and research information when you do something new, and best is to have that from the country that you want to target. We decided to work in a project called Smart Plant with Professor Fatone to generate this data before entering into the market.
And so what you are saying is it's important to organize upfront. I remember you told me this when we prepared this session, that it's important that as a Dutch company, you get validated by an Italian institution. This gives extra trustworthiness to your proposal. Right?
Yeah, if you look at in the first stage, of course, you look at the market and to see if it would be open for your technology. We did that also prior to these research projects. And then you see that Italy is, on some parts of innovation and reuse, is ahead of the Netherlands. So like reuse of effluent for irrigation, they did it already, do that already a long time. And also in Italian legislation, there is an incentive for water authorities to go to circular, to do a circular approach, something that we don't know in Italy. On the other hand, I think that in the Netherlands, we are quite good in valuing circular solutions. So looking at CO2 reduction, reduction of CO2 footprint, and also to create added value. So from that perspective, I think it was for us a great match. And of course, you have to have that validated by some research by respected research institutes locally.
So since you are working in the public sector, your appliances go mostly to public authorities. What can Dutch companies learn from you? What can they take away from your experience?
Well, I would say the public sector is, of course, not a fast sector. But the nice thing is that your customers do have a lot of knowledge also about what we are offering. So you have to come with real research data, and you must be open to do some piloting also on site to prove the numbers that you are claiming to have. But when you do so, they are also respecting the research that you did, and they're pretty open to innovative technology. So I think this was really one of the things that we were taking into Italy. They were pretty open to circular technologies, and we communicate, I think, quite open to this. On the other hand, we are also working with an Italian partner because language is a thing, and it's pretty important for us.
Yeah, very good. And what are your future developments? What are your expectations for this market, and especially in this recovery plan opportunities?
Well, the business case for our technology is already positive. If you look at the savings on a treatment plant, so we see there very nice business opportunities from that perspective. And if we are able to create a market, and there is a lot of interest for the cellulose part, so to sell it off, I think that the perspectives are even better. So yeah, we look at, I think, a bright future in Italy.
Certainly believe so with your technology. It's really, I think you're unique in the world in this application, aren't you?
So far, I think that we are the only ones in the world that have it at full scale in operation. We do have references. We are aware that there are others developing it, but to my knowledge, they are not further than doing small scale tests at the moment. So I think we are so far ahead of the competition, developing our technology also in other European countries.
Very good. And last question to you, is Ecomondo important platform for you? Are you participating or intending to participate?
Yeah, we will participate through our partner, and maybe also in another way by organizing a webinar. So we are looking on how to do that and how we can contribute to that. But we will be for sure active on Ecomondo, yes.
Very good, very good. Thank you very much, Koos. We will share your contact details if you agree with the attendees later on, so they can ask you extra questions if they want.
Sure, thank you.
Let me now introduce to you Raymond Oldhoff, CEO of Akana, who has been working in Italy already for quite some years. If I don't mistake, 10 years, isn't it, Raymond?
That's correct, indeed. We started in 2013.
And what is your company doing? Could you give us a short insight in your technology? You
Yes.
have a few slides, if I don't mistake.
Just two slides for a very nice technology and a nice experience in Italy so far. Welcome everybody. Cordially, thank you for the introduction. We developed, as Akana team in the Netherlands, we developed an alternative anaerobic technology. And I will not make it too technical, but anaerobic technology is used in industry to convert COD, and COD is, for example, starch or beer or sugars in wastewaters, to convert it into methane gas, biogas. And having a long experience in anaerobic technology, we developed an alternative type of reactor, which we think we have a much stronger anaerobic process itself. And with this stronger process, we can also go to industries where they have a higher and extremer type of wastewater to be treated. So our typical customers, breweries, chemical plants, pharmacy, and also the special pulp and paper mills. And as we know, these companies, there are a lot of companies in Italy where they have, where there is the need for wastewater treatment plants. We developed in 2011 the technology. The idea was to sell only the technology to integrators, and so to larger companies who do projects by themselves and they ask for our technology. But we learned during the years and by doing presentations that the customer asked to us, okay, you have such a nice story, can you build the installation by yourself and not having a separate integrator on board or contractor? So that means that we, as a relatively small company, we quite quickly we had to go for partners in the industry who helped us to build these installations. So on the left side, you see, on the right side, you see a few pictures, and I think an interesting one is the first one. That is the containerized concept. We developed the wastewater treatment in such a way that we can install quite quickly the tanks and the containers. And in these containers, we have integrated the technology as control cabinets, dosing pumps, etc. So we are relatively short on the production side of a customer. Meanwhile, after 11 years, we have now 24 large turnkey projects and established industrial names like ThyssenKrupp, Suez, Coca-Cola. As a matter of fact, also Coca-Cola in Italy are now our client base. But in the beginning, and I'd like to go to the next sheet, it's immediately the last sheet. I'd like to explain why Italy was for us such an important country. And I have here already some signals or remarks from course, from the Ecomondo, from the speakers before, that the Italian market, Italian customers, a lot of industries are privately owned. And privately owned means if you have a meeting with a client, then you speak immediately with the CEO or with the founder of the company or the successor. We have a paper mill which in Lago di Como, which is 400 years old. So you speak with company with a long reputation. And if you tell your story about your new technology well, then what we have learned is that these Italian entrepreneurs, they are open for new technology, as also course confirmed. So it means that in Italy, we are, as you can see, we have now realized the 7 turnkey projects. We became quite quickly successful in our opinion, because we could bring over the story. The story was accepted. Of course, I did a lot of travels together with my sales manager in Italy, who was a senior in the industrial market. We did a lot of travels. I think I was every 2 weeks, I was in Italy for visiting clients. Sometimes you visit clients, in your opinion, you say, again, I have to convince him, I have to travel again. But at the end, most of the leads we developed also became, in his own speed, became a project. Right? So paying attention to customers, convinced about the technology, do not rush, do not ask the second visit or the third visit, when are we going to sign a contract, because the client needs to be ready for a large investment. But we did a lot of positive learnings in the Italian market. And as you can see on the pictures, the projects itself are quite large. So it means you have to pay a lot of attention to the project development. So you have discussions about discharge savings, biogas production, so they can utilize the biogas. Now a new factor is the CO2 savings. CO2 has also cost effect, which is good for us. But also we are helped by that's called the SIC program. If clients produce methane gas and they can put it on the gas grid, they get a very, I would say, very interesting subsidy for the next 10 years as a company, as a paper mill, as a starch producer. So this is a Italian governmental help, which will not force, but will interest Italian companies to go for anaerobic technologies, sustainable technologies. And it is helping our business tremendously, I would say, in the business development. What I like to explain that by being an integrator in Italy, where we were looking quite quickly for Italian suppliers, and what we have learned is that Italy is rich of high quality subcontractors. So by having a limited number of partners in our project, we team also up with a limited number of Italian specialists. So we have a company, Sebec, specialized in purifying biogas into methane. We have Celeb as a tank supplier. We have ENG as a piping supplier. So by creating this local execution team, we know each other in the projects, and quite quickly we can execute the projects in Italy. Even when it is in the south of Italy, we have now a project ready for startup in the Napoli area, in Pelesano. What we did is we invested, I believe I have 1 minute, we invested in an office, an own sales office. It's located in Lodi, biking distance from Milano. And now also we invested in a project manager and engineering office, because for our projects we need to have Italian process engineer, Italian project manager. And our intention is in the growth by having the references in the industry. So we have a couple of paper mills, we have a couple of beverage, we have a couple now we have entering into the pharmacy market. There is the spin-off of the references. So we expect a large growth in Italy in the next years. We are going to open a more centralized office in the neighborhood of Lodi, where we expand our local team. So and this is for us a very good example of when we are open-minded, and our customers and our partners are open-minded for this, I would say this kind of hybrid project execution. For all, including the customers, we came to a kind, and we will come in other projects, to a kind of win-win situation in projects development and project execution.
Yeah, very good. What I hear in your story is that the importance of having a partner in Italy, where you started with the right partner, and on the other hand, you created, of course, references through this partner, but then you created also a network of suppliers, or let's say executors, subcontractors with whom you can install or engineer. And, that's a very, very good, very interesting way to work. And I think that's very helpful also for other companies that would like to learn from your experience. Thank you very much. Very interesting, both of you, Koos and Raymond. After having heard these important experiences of two companies really in the field, Dutch companies in the Italian field, and all the opportunities that this offers, I think it's interesting to learn also from the Dutch branch organizations and the RBO how they support their members in their plans for the Italian market. So I'm pleased to give the floor to three organizations, the Water Alliance and VAQA and the RVO, of course. So Juliette Douglas, who is the Liaison Business Development Manager for South Europe, so Spain, Portugal, and Italy. Would you like to explain something about the Water Alliance and what you're doing in Italy?
Sure, thank you, Godelieve, for introducing me. The Water Alliance is a network organization with moreover than 100 SMEs in water technology. And yes, I started with a roadmap Italy from the 3 southern European countries. And we actually started in November 2019 by visiting the Ecomondo.
Yeah.
And then we got better connected to the Dutch embassy in Italy. And they actually introduced us to several parties that are active in the Italian water market. And also we met exhibitors at the Ecomondo, and that helped expand our network. So actually then was the foundation laid. And from that moment on, we moved further. So we set up a roadmap for 2020 and 21, actually in collaboration with the embassy, with the RVO, with Envagua and ProAccess. And we all worked together in our own expertise on our own things. So whilst the embassy was working with Ilaria, for example, on market intelligence and reports and network, Waterlines and Envagua was working on sorting out the Dutch SMEs who would be interested in doing business in Italy. And ProAccess actually approached the Italian water network and pinpointed several cases. So in the beginning of 2020, we decided to focus then on the household and built environment. And we held a webinar in June 2020 with 2 Italian case owners and 6 water tech Dutch companies. They sat around the table to discuss those cases, and after that, actually, the tenders were made. So in the meantime, RVO and Dutch Embassy started to organize the virtual trade mission to Italy, which was with Minister Sigrid Kaag. And along came the market intelligence from Ilaria and 4 Italian cases. All different cases on different subjects were arranged, and top of the bill and dedicated matchmaking for moreover than I think 25 companies. And also those tenders are still in progress. So entering 2021, we decided to continue the roadmap. And as we speak, we wanted to try to set up a meeting in June with those parties where I'd love to see them personally next year or this year. But yeah, in June, we will set up a tech talk, which Ignas Worm is going to tell you something about more in the next coming 3 minutes. Hopefully a tech talk more on the agri and the horti sector. And in September, we would like to set up a webinar together with Italia, where subjects as UV and reviews as MOS will be addressed. And hopefully in October, then we could visit the Ecomondo, the exhibition in Italy, together with the SMEs who would like to do business or already are very much further in doing business in Italy.
That's a huge program.
Yeah,
we participated in it, and it was really very interesting to do this together. And it surely gives a lot of opportunities for this year, and from there on, companies will start to work in Italy more and more. Ignas, I give the floor to you, please. Juliette of Waterlines mentioned this already. You are collaborating a lot together with
definitely, Godlieve. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. No, indeed, in the Netherlands, both Envagua and Water Alliance do represent, we as well, over 100 SMEs in the water and, in our case, water and environmental technology companies. So we have a lot in common, more in common than we differ, and still we're also quite complementary, especially in the question of today in facilitating export. So we are the association, the Association of Dutch Water Technology and Environmental Technology Companies, and we focus on. We are thematic organized, so we have an expert group on water cycle and resource recovery, an expert group on Legionella, on swimming pools, on all these different biocides, cooling water, all these different topics. And in these expert groups, our companies join forces and they do together the things that they can even, as competitors, do together better than alone. So this comes, for example, in the example of cooling water. Cooling water is quite a hot which is not hot, it's cool, but it's a hot topic in the Netherlands. And in terms of chemical usage, of water usage, so water scarcity is now really, it's not only Southern Europe, it's not only the arid areas of this world. Water scarcity is in the Netherlands today, is in Sweden, is in Flanders, it's everywhere. And so water scarcity is really an issue that is coming up, and a lot of cooling technologies use water, and we're looking now with this expert group on cooling water to alternative technologies that are more sustainable and use less water and less chemicals. So together with these companies, we work on it's a European Boven lobby way of working on getting a new best available technology reference document validated, as well as a big program on testing technologies and proving that technologies are both effective and sustainable. So that's one thing. So as Envaqua, we are really focusing on these specific societal challenges and see how technology can be sort of switched on those challenges and make things happen and make society a little bit prettier and better. So water scarcity also in the area, like you say, Juliette, in the area of agriculture, horticulture. We did a tech talk last December. A tech talk, as Juliette, as you mentioned, is a meeting, obviously online in these days, where we ask different stakeholders around a topic to give their vision on this specific topic. It's always quite technical. It's a tech talk for that reason. And so we love cubic meters per hour and milligrams per liters. But on the other hand, we do this from a sort of high level abstract way of approaching, seeing where is the need, how can we make steps in addressing such a challenge. We did this for water scarcity in the agriculture in a small polder, a small area in the Netherlands, and we really made steps there. So we found out that the local water board has a wastewater treatment plant locally. And like you were saying, Koos, earlier this talk, whereas this is common in Italy, it's not common at all, interesting enough, in the Netherlands. So we see a lot of discharge of freshwater wastewater treatment plant effluent to the sea, which is a big, more and more we see as a waste. So now we're trying to turn this around, treat it even more and reuse it on agriculture applications or industrial applications. So water scarcity, water reuse is an upcoming topic, and also our companies, our members, the Envaqua members are really into this area. Also, like you say, Juliette, in disinfection technologies like membrane filtration, like UV, like ozone, we are now organizing a tech talk in the coming days around plasma technology, which even I had to look up in Wikipedia what plasma is, but I found it out really interesting, quite small scale so far, but who knows, maybe this will sort of be scaled up into an area where we can really have large scales and also apply this technology in water. Finally, we're working on Legionella. So as you can hear, we are on these topics, we're really focusing export. We like to work and join forces with Waterlines. They're, to be honest, quite much stronger and much more effective in export facilitation than we are as Envaqua. But our members, our knowledge, our content combined with the facilities that Waterlines is offering, it's really a strong combination. So I'm confident and I'm very pleased to work on this tech talk together.
Very good, thank you very much. And also Italy is suffering from water scarcity in certain areas in agriculture too. And the reuse is a big topic in Italy, and there's just created a consortium of farmers on circular economy in agriculture, where reuse is being studied, and there are already companies working on this. So it's certainly an opportunity to get together and organize these tech talks. I'm really happy about this. What can the RVO do in all this? What can the Dutch government?
Yes, hello. My name is Philippe Evers, Business Development Coach at the RVO, the Netherlands Enterprise Agency. And as a business development coach, it's my job to help entrepreneurs with their activities abroad, in this case Italy, of course. And it's also my goal to help facilitate public-private cooperation. So what Juliette was mentioning is actually a perfect example of that. But yeah, we have, as RVO, we have some instruments to help entrepreneurs with their activities abroad. These can be broadly divided into two categories. We have the instruments for individual entrepreneurs, and we have the instruments for collective groups of entrepreneurs. If I start off with the individual instruments for individual entrepreneurs, we have customized country information, which we can use to help you answer some basic questions about your target country. We do this, of course, with the embassy and the consulate, with the help of them. We also have customized business partner support, in which we try to assist you in finding the perfect business partner for you. Also, a really great instrument for individual entrepreneurs is our SIP Voucher Program, Starters in International Business, in which you can apply for certain vouchers in the field of market entry, missions, and individual trade, fair participation. And if I then switch over to the collective instruments, one instrument that can be really interesting for the sector organizations in this meeting is the Sme Lounge. This instrument can be used as an opportunity to present sector organizations at an international fair through a collective Dutch entry. Yeah, as mentioned before, we can also organize missions if there is enough interest in it. And the final instrument I would like to introduce to this audience is our Partners in International Business. This is a really nice instrument in which a cluster of companies can decide to enter a market together, and then the RVO can help with setting up an interesting program to foster the cooperation between the group and to help with finding opportunities. I realize that if I list off these instruments, it's quite a long list. So my main message would be feel free to contact me in any time so that I can help spar with you about your international ambitions. I will also post my contact details in the chat, and yeah, come and find me.
Very good. A lot of opportunities you're offering. Thank you very much, Philip. And I guess these instruments are also explained on the website of the RVO.
Yes.
Very good. We actually are already for an hour in this very interesting session. If you allow me, there are some questions in the chat. And if you still have some patience, I would like to ask some of those, and the rest maybe we can do afterwards. Like we were talking about Ecomondo. What is the deadline for participation, and to whom a Dutch company can go and ask to participate or show its interest in maybe a collective? Yes.
Actually, there is no deadline, actual deadline to apply. Although, of course, regarding the exhibition, we operate in a first come, first served policy. So let's say that the sooner the better, both for the position and because certain exhibiting areas very often go sold out very quick. So if the company is interested, they can contact us, or also, of course, Chris and Daniela at the embassy if they're interested in the collective area, and then they can get all the information.
Very good. Thank you very much. Maybe a question to Ilaria Re. What are, let's say, the sectors within water where there's a demand for foreign technology, for Dutch technology preferably?
There are a lot of very interesting opportunities for Dutch companies, since the water supply chain is well developed in Italy, but not at the same level. The infrastructure and the capacity to deploy new technologies in already existing wastewater treatment plant. So there is a very huge need of companies interested in validate at industrial level new technologies for the new emerging contaminants, especially for toxic reason, of course, but more and more in order to guarantee a safe reuse of purified water for agriculture. So we are looking for companies that have a well-established technology for, especially for use in agriculture, and then for technology for sewage sludge reuse, in order to closing the loop of nutrients, already speaking with about circular economy, and then reuse sludge as biostimulants, for example, and amended for or nutrients for agricultural practices, in order to combine water reuse and nutrients use in agriculture practices.
Very well, thank you very much. And the last question, are public institutions, organizations and Italian companies open to new technology? Are they ready to invest in it? Or can this be stimulated extra through the recovery plan, for instance?
In my opinion, the major bottlenecks is related to summarize some policy recommendation or include a new vision inside already existing governance instruments. So it is exactly what we are now doing in order to spread, to boost innovation and co-create the better condition, environmental condition for the deployment of these technologies. But in my opinion, it's necessary to organize more and more matchmaking event like this, in order to spread the new technologies and engage companies, the Italian companies, in order to support the common matchmaking and learning each other about needs and solution. Since there are not a very well-established network in water in Italy able to guarantee a good matchmaking.
Yeah, very good. Well, I think the embassy and the consulate have a long experience with all the different organizations to organize these matchmaking. So this is certainly an opportunity. Thank you very much. I would like to go to the conclusions for what we heard today. If there are no other questions, sorry. If there are any questions. Otherwise, I would go to the conclusions. I think today we heard a lot of opportunities on the Italian market. Ilaria just repeated some, the contaminants detection sector, artificial intelligence solutions, sludge technology, sludge recovery technology for nutrients, purification systems, bioremediation, new infrastructures for the water supply. We also talked on the networking opportunities of Ecomondo, and the Koos and Raymond gave certainly a very practical and good insight in the importance to explain to authorities what your added value is in your technology. And it's not only always on price that you win a tender or you win a client. It's mostly if you're good in explaining and finding the right channels to do this, what your added value is, then certainly foreign technology will be accepted. And as Ilaria said, it's really needed in this country in a lot of sectors. We talked about integration. We talked about having a local execution team, had to find the right subcontractors. And I think that Water Alliance and Envaqua gave a very good insight in how we can organize this through a roadmap, through matchmakings, through tech talks, with the support of the embassy or the RBO and other institutions or companies, experts that can do this. And of course, the last important thing, what Ilaria explained, that companies can be experts within this recovery plan, where this next generation EU, where money is coming in the next 6 years, that companies can act as an expert to the public institutions in certain water issues is really very interesting. And it's not only local companies, but foreign companies that have expertise are very welcome. So I would say, all in all, that in this hour and 10 minutes, we learned a lot on what Italy can offer to Dutch entrepreneurs. And I hope you learned a lot too. And for all your questions, as we said, the matchmaking platform B2Match remains open for the next month. There are still B2B meetings planned in the coming half hour or hour. But keep on meeting people that you find in this B2Match platform and create new relations and possible partnerships. You will receive the registration, the recording of this webinar in your email in the coming weeks, and also the contact details of all the speakers. So yeah, I would say keep matching. And thank you very much for your interest in this subject of water and bioeconomy. And thank you very much for participating also to all the speakers of today, and for the embassy and the RBO and the consulate for organizing this. Thank you very much.